Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, an ancient discovery in Louth, a new outing for the Typhoons, and my guest today is Lindsey, who's telling us all about ghostly goings-on. Welcome to Estuary TV News, I'm Richard Morris, but first of all it's over to Dan Kemp for the news headlines.
Hello there, it's been announced that Hull will host one of the world's most famous contemporary arts competitions. The Turner Prize will be held in the city during its City of Culture year. The final four competitors will be prized at the display at the Ferrens Art Gallery late in 2017 and through to the following year, and Martin Green, Chief Executive of Hull City of Culture, is delighted at the news.
Well, 4 world-class artists exhibiting their work. Around that, a whole engagement programme, an education programme. Derry, Londonderry saw 150,000 people walk through the door. Those are people who are going to eat here, sleep here, shop here, and so it's a great example about how art is a regenerative tool and an economic boost for a city.
What really brings it to life is the responses of people and communities in different parts of the UK, and that's one of the reasons why Tate is so pleased to be working with Hull 2017 and the Ferrens Art Gallery to bring contemporary art to the heart of the programme.
Thousands of people have opted in to a controversial garden waste collection service in North East Lincolnshire. The voluntary £30 charge for residents in the borough to have their bins emptied came after a decision taken by the council's cabinet in February and comes into effect from June the 1st. Figures from North East Lincolnshire Council show that 19,000 households have so far signed up for the scheme, which accounts for 33% of those who used to get their bins emptied for free. The pilot of the RAF's Memorial Typhoon is looking forward to getting in the air. Last week the RAF unveiled its specially painted Memorial aeroplane in commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain. Ben Westerby-Brooks is the Typhoon's synchro display pilot and says it's a great privilege to fly the Typhoon and is looking forward to the displays.
I was really looking forward to it. I love flying in the Royal Air Force. I followed in my grandfather's footsteps and joined the Air Force. He used to fly Sea Spitfires back then, and also the Spitfires that I see here on the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. We're spoilt here at Coningsby to see these iconic aircraft flying around.
And you can see more from the Typhoon in today's show. Don't forget to get in contact with any stories you have. Bye for now.
A historical site in Louth is revealing some pretty interesting finds. Julian's Bower is the most well-known local similar attraction, and now it's thought that the discovery of this new site in Louth could indicate another similar Neolithic relic. I went along to find out more. Being curious about local historical sites, Priska Furlong has been doing plenty of research into the site, which is the old hockey field for King Edward's School in Louth. She's now finding plenty of interesting facts about the site.
So I went up there and didn't find a medieval labyrinth or any signs of one, but what I found was what looked like a Roman embanked area, huge. And I thought, gosh, what on earth's that, and sort of 3 months later, I'm now, with all the research I'm doing, I'm trying to prove, and we're getting the evidence, that it's been in continual use, the area has been in continual use since Neolithic times.
Now it appears that any potential developments on the site will be put on hold as the investigation continues.
What we're trying to do is get it listed as a scheduled monument that would save it from development. Apart from anything else, it's in an area of outstanding natural beauty. There are all other sorts of things I like to it. It is a beautiful spot right on the edge of the area of outstanding natural beauty with panoramic views over the coast all over the world. To ruin that skyline with housing would be such a shame when it was such an important place for people from Neolithic times right through, we believe, Bronze Age, Iron Age, Romano-British, right up to medieval.
And we're expected to know more updates about the historical significance of the site going into the autumn. We'll keep you up to date on that story as it develops. You're watching Estuary TV News. A little later, a typhoon takes to the skies across Lincolnshire, and Dan Kemp will bring you all the sports news. Now, it might not always seem like there's a lot going on in our quiet rural region, although hopefully this programme goes some way to dispelling that myth. But I'm told by Mark Lindsey, who joins me now, that there is always far more than meets the eye. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. So tell me, first of all, tell me a little bit about the difference between ghost hunting and ghost investigation, because you do the latter, but tell me a little bit about that.
Well, ghost hunting is for people who are interested in the paranormal but want a cheap thrill, a quick thrill. So an investigator would investigate, document readings and do it like that, rather than just going out for a quick scare as a ghost hunter.
So in terms of sort of document readings, you're talking about using instruments and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we use equipment what's available to us on the market at the moment. We try and get the most up-to-date equipment in meters, cameras, sound equipment, everything.
So in terms of the equipment that you use, what kind of equipment are we talking about? I mean, do they have special names? Are they made from kind of like other household objects, or you know, tell me a little bit about it.
No, I mean, just for instance, we use something called an EMF meter, which detects electromagnetic energy fields, temperature guns, on-spot temperatures. We actually use ghost box, scans FM frequency, get white noise. Sometimes we get answers off them. Still on the line with that one.
All of this sounds like pretty sort of technical stuff. It all sounds pretty expensive, surely.
Yeah, we've spent a couple of thousand on equipment. Team being all volunteers, it's all out of their own pocket.
And can you make any of this equipment yourself? I mean, is there anything that you can like sort of cobble together in a garage and say this might be able to sort of investigate any kind of paranormal activity? Yeah,
we do actually. We've brought out a new line of equipment. Myself and Anthony in the group, he's a bit of a techie. I know a few electric circuitry designs. We put together some equipment. The first one, we believe, in the UK made out of wood. We're on the social networks called Steampunk Paranormal Equipment, and everything is built from scratch and it's fully working, so we do build quite a lot ourselves.
So aside from the wood, what kind of components are going into that? I mean, is it just stuff that you find about the house, or is it stuff that you have to sort of go out and put together?
No, we have to get schematics we get a lot of it from America, parts list, we have to order parts in. It takes months to build just one piece sometimes.
And so why did you sort of decide to take this on? You know, what drew you to investigate this kind of stuff?
Well, quite a few experiences when I was younger, but we're trying to get evidence of the paranormal to help people, really, because a lot of people are scared of dying, so they'd like to think there was something else after they died. So if we could get that evidence, then that'd help people in death, really, as well. So,
do you think people find it sort of quite comforting when when they think that there might be some kind of afterlife?
I think some people can find it comforting, yeah. But then you get some people that just don't believe in that. Once you're dead, that's it.
And what's your own sort of first-hand experience? You know, I mean, obviously you must have had some frights over the years. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I've investigated a few places. I've captured some photographic evidence of it looked like a guy stood at the end of a hallway. We've been pushed, scratched, shoved when nobody's there. We've heard noises, we've had smells. The equipment's picked up all kinds of readings. So yeah, there's been quite a few different things. So.
And obviously this question kind of lends itself on to the next question, which is, what's the scariest thing that you've ever been involved in? I mean, you know, have you ever been given a real kind of true shock from something that you've investigated? Yeah,
we was doing a ghost walk around a cemetery in Hull, and I thought the team was stood behind me. We was following this silhouette in the cemetery, and this silhouette shape kept peeping out from behind the tree, so we was following that. Then this silhouette started coming towards us, and didn't realise the team had ran away. I'm stood looking around thinking, where's everybody gone?
So you were left alone in the middle of a cemetery?
And it was pretty spooky and scary, but I tried to document what I could, yeah.
And so how did you get out of that situation? Did it kind of dispel itself, or did you run, or what?
No, I don't run, even though it gets a bit stressful, but you just try and get that evidence. When you're an investigator, you've got to get that evidence.
Interesting. So you said that took place in Hull. Now, I mean, obviously that kind of lends itself onto the question, what kind of stuff can you find in Hull? I mean, you know, people might not necessarily associate it with a kind of like, you know, ghost spotting ground.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of paranormal groups in Hull, Hull being a really old city as well. I mean, the old part of the town, a lot of the pubs say that they've got activity in their pubs. We've been to a few and we've gathered some evidence, only on the meters, no actual photographic or video evidence. But you can pretty much go into any old building in Hull and they've got a ghost story to tell you. So,
what kind of stories do you tend to find people tell you? You know, when they're contacting you and saying that we'd like to have this investigated, what kind of things are they talking to you about?
Well, the private ones, I get a lot of phone calls, emails saying. I've had one where the daughter, she lived in Brough, she was going through puberty, and she was getting a lot of scratches, there was a lot of noises. It was what we would maybe class as poltergeist activity, and when we went down there to document it, doors were slamming. We got that evidence as well, but poltergeist activity is created by the living. Some people may not know. So.
And what kind of stuff can people look out for in their own homes? You know, if they think that there might be some kind of activity going on, what kind of stuff would you really be looking out for as like key things?
No, I mean, there's quite a few different things what you could look out for, but no, you don't want to scare people like that, I don't think. No, generally you'll know, or you've got an idea if something is in your home. Then, if you have, then just contact us.
Okay, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back to you in just a minute and we'll be talking a little bit more about how people can hopefully comfort themselves about any kind of suspicious activity. Thank you very much. This year is the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and the RAF is celebrating the occasion with a special memorial. A Typhoon fighter jet has been painted in the colours of a 1940s Hurricane aircraft as a special tribute to all airmen who took part in the battle, with a special insignia honouring a specific airman. Dave Nunn jetted to RAF Coningsby to find out more.
This year marks the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight is giving a Typhoon a special coat of paint to remember the heroics of all the airmen who took part, with a special nod to one airman in particular.
Yeah, the paint job that you see is as close as we can get it to the Hurricane flown by Flight Lieutenant James Nicholson, VC, during the battle. To the small detail of the Red Devil decal that you can see just below the cockpit. Flight Lieutenant Nicholson was the only VC winner of the Battle of Britain, and for that reason we thought it was appropriate that his name should go on the Typhoon.
The Typhoon will be taking part in synchronised displays alongside an old Spitfire, something which Wing Commander Heald thinks is a fitting tribute.
I think it's great because, a lot of people, tens of thousands of people will see this aeroplane on the display circuit this year, and it will display with the Spitfire that you see there, and they'll carry out a synchronised display, which is quite a spectacle.
The synchronisation team of the Typhoon and the Spitfire will have to overcome a number of challenges. But the main question is, how do you train for a display in which you have to be perfectly in sync in a plane that can break the sound barrier?
It's taken a lot of training. We have a cutting-edge, multi-role fighter in the Typhoon, incredibly powerful, alongside the iconic Spitfire from Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. The training, we started off in the simulator where we would link the two aircraft up. Parky, who flies the Spitfire, is also a Typhoon pilot, or previously was a Typhoon pilot, so he knows how to jump in the sim and fly that. So the simulator's been very useful. We've also then got in the air and we flew the routine as a singleton, and we started at reasonably high altitudes and worked our way down to minimum heights of 100 feet. Once we'd done that, and we're happy down at 100 feet as a single aircraft, we then did our first flight together, Typhoon and Spitfire, in early April.
One man that will be watching the journey of the Typhoon is James Nicholson, who is a relative of Flight Lieutenant James Nicholson, VC, DFC. He outlined what the plane's symbolism meant to him personally, and what Flight Lieutenant Nicholson thought of his recognition after the Battle of Britain.
It's a tremendous thrill to be here today, to see the plane in the colours that he flew during the Battle of Britain, and to have his name on the side, of course, and also the Red Devil emblem, which has only recently come to light on the aeroplane as well, as an added bonus. Well, I think he was seen very much as the hero of the Battle of Britain by some people. He certainly didn't feel that. He felt to some degree he'd been singled out for the award, but but I think it's right to say that they were all heroes.
In the studio still with me is Mark Lindsey, who does paranormal investigations. Hello again, Mark. Yeah. So tell me a little bit, how can someone get involved in this line of work? I mean, is it something that you have to have sort of a wealth of knowledge of, or if someone's just very enthusiastic, can they sort of take part?
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody can get involved with it. We do public events and things to try and give them an idea what goes on, a small idea. But getting the experience, you've got to do quite a lot of studying. It took me 22 years to get where I am, so yeah, anybody can do it.
And I believe you've got an event coming up at the end of August, but we'll turn to that sort of towards the end of the interview, if that's okay. What do you say to people who simply just don't believe what you're telling them? I mean, you must have some people who are sort of very cynical about it.
Yeah, we get quite a lot of scepticals, but I just tell them they're entitled to their own opinion. I'm kind of sceptical myself, so yeah. So
you're sceptical yourself. So how that's an interesting way of looking at it. So why did you get involved then? If you are sort of slightly sceptical of it,
experience was happening to me as a child. So I as I got older, I could still get these experiences. So I was looking for ways to explain how and why this was happening. So yeah, I've still got that. I need to get evidence for it, really. So.
And in terms of cynics and that kind of thing, if someone really was saying to you, this must be complete rubbish, would you say come along, join us, see what we do?
Yeah, anybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome to their opinion. They can come along, come on one of the public events. It's a lot of fun as well with the public. So
one of the things frequently said about sort of paranormal investigations is that they quite often centre around a specific object. So why is that? Why do specific objects tend to evoke particular conjurings or whatever?
It's not necessarily true. You can get attachments to some objects, if you like, what give off energy readings. Not necessarily true. Like if, say, a jewellery box was at the side of the bed when somebody passed away, that may hold a trace of that energy in that material. But that's one of the only reasons I could think of, really.
And do you ever do anything like seances or Ouija boards? I mean, those are sort of the most commonly associated things with your kind of work.
We do experiments with them, yes, but the team are experienced. Like I say, with over 22 years experience, we do know what we're doing. We don't recommend the public go on Ouija boards. If it is a seance we're doing, we do lead it correctly and close it down properly.
So what are you actually doing when you do sort of Ouija boards? I mean, everyone's seen them in terms of horror films, and everyone knows what happens in thrillers and that kind of thing, but what actually does happen during a Ouija board?
Well, we get them to put the finger on the planchette or a glass we use on our board. They're calling out to spirit to give them answers, but my explanation for the Ouija board was it's solely in the subconscious mind as a scientific investigator.
So would you say it's almost sort of the most effective way to get in contact with the undead, as it's quite often called?
No, not at all.
So what is the most effective way?
Using proper equipment, like I say, the ghost box is a good way. Sound recordings, you can get a lot of good EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. Certainly not a Ouija board, no.
And is your schedule quite often very full? I mean, are there always people calling you out and saying, please come and investigate this?
Yeah. I mean, the last 10 years I've had over 30 private houses to go to. Last week I've had 2 people ring me up, can you come? But we're so busy doing other things and our own personal jobs as well. We can't always attend them.
And what do you make of programmes like Most Haunted, which have they've almost kind of like glamorised the genre, but I don't really think you're too much of a fan yourself, so tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's good entertainment. I mean, I like the guys, they're a good bunch of guys, but we would just consider that entertainment, really, and that's all it is. It's good for TV.
So you're not really saying that it's based on any kind of, fact or any kind of real investigation or what you do, it's more sort of, it's an entertainment thing, really.
Yeah, we're more investigative with it. I actually they probably do use a historian for historical fact, but like I said, I just think that's designed for TV. So.
And you were telling me whilst the last bit of video was going out that you've got an event coming up towards the end of August. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, on the 29th of August we've got a massive event called BritCon 2015. If you search Facebook for that, come along. It's a celebration of the paranormal industry. We've got some TV celebs coming down. We've got Ray Jordan from Haunting Australia. He's bringing Claire Sloan. We're having some talkers, we're doing some speeches. We're holding some raffles. There'll be prizes, music, food and drink. It's just so all the teams in the UK can get together have a meeting, have a talk, and the public can come as well. It's all free entry.
And just before we do sort of wrap this up, what would be your one key message to people who want to get involved in this but they're not quite convinced just yet?
I'd just keep an eye on it, contact us, look out for us on social networks. We can talk to you, just inbox us a message, we'll have a chat with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming in, Mark, and good luck with all your ventures. Now here's the sport with Dan Kemp.
Paul McShane has been released by Hull City. The versatile Irish defender had been at the KC since 2008 and was the club's longest serving player. The news comes as the Tigers have announced their release list following their relegation from the Premier League. Joining McShane in leaving are Liam Rossini, as we reported earlier in the week, and veteran goalkeeper Steve Harper. Also going are Yannick Sagbo, Joe Dudgeon and Maynor Figueroa, while Alex Bruce and Stephen Quinn have been offered new deals. Also at Hull, Welsh centre-half James Chester is reportedly attracting interest from a number of top-flight clubs. He's made 155 appearances so far from the Tigers since joining from Man United in 2011. Newcastle, who have survived at City's expense, as well as West Brom, are rumoured to be interested. 26-year-old Chester has also been called up to the Wales squad for their matches in June. Grimsby Town boss Paul Hurst has been busy talking to current and potential new players. In an interview he said he was moving close to getting a few more players to stay. I've had more positive chats and I certainly think one or two more are possible. Regarding new players, Hurst said, I've spoken to a couple of lads that are interested, but again, it's early days. I've made a couple of inquiries, so let's see where that takes us. And Beverley's Kyle Edmund has withdrawn from the French Open in tennis. He was due to face off against 29 seed Nick Kyrgios at 10 a.m. this morning, but pulled out after a stomach injury. He comes out after the world number 121, won his first main Grand Slam match against Stéphane Robert of France in 5 sets on Monday. And that's all for the sport.
That's all we've got time for today. Just before we do go, Mark, just give us a brief recap again about the event that you're doing in the end of August.
Yeah, 29th of August, BritCon 2015. Starts at dinner time, finishes at tea time. These are nighttime investigation for all the teams that would like to take part, and it's free entry to the public, so they can all come along.
And is it throughout the night as well? Is it going all the way up to the early hours?
It's probably going till 1 a.m.
Okay. And you've got celebrity faces taking part as well?
We think they're staying. We don't know yet. They're going to give us that answer, but they will be there during the day to have a chat, sign autographs, do talks on various subjects.
Brilliant. Thank you once again, Mark, for coming in. If you've got a story for us, then please do go to our Facebook or Twitter pages. The details are on the screen. You can email news@estuary.tv or you can phone Grimsby 31553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Rain soon clearing on Friday, leaving a breezy day with some sunny spells and a few showers. Despite the sunshine, the wind will again make it feel cool, and a maximum temperature of 14 degrees. Saturday should be dry with some sunshine.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.